Welcome back to Global Edge, your go-to place for clear and simple talks about what's happening around the world. We look at big events, powerful leaders, and important decisions that are changing the future. If something big is happening in the world, we help you understand it in a way that makes sense. If you're curious about the world and want to learn more about why things happen, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell. That way you won't miss any updates or stories that matter. Segment 1. The ceasefire or the calm before the storm. Recent headlines have talked about a fragile ceasefire in the region, brought about by quiet, behind-the-scenes talks involving the US, Iran, and various regional groups. On the surface, it may look like tensions are cooling down and peace could be possible. But when you look closer, the picture isn't so clear. Behind this calm moment, there are signs of trouble building up. Could this be the first real move toward lasting peace? Or is it just a break in the fighting, a chance for Iran and its allies to plan their next steps? Some experts think it's just a temporary pause, not a real solution. The big question now is, what's really going on beneath the surface and what comes next? Segment 2. Iran's nuclear calculations. At the center of Iran's long-term strategy is its nuclear program, revived, active again, and now more secretive than ever. After years of pressure, sanctions, and diplomacy, Iran has brought its program back to life. In 2025, its uranium enrichment levels remain dangerously close to weapons grade, just a small technical step away from being able to build a nuclear bomb. That fact alone is enough to make many countries in the region and around the world extremely nervous. Even though the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, the UN's nuclear watchdog, still conducts inspections, there are limits to what it can see. Iran continues to block access to key military sites, especially those suspected of housing secret nuclear-related work. That leaves inspectors, diplomats, and intelligence analysts with a lot of unanswered questions. What is Iran really working on behind closed doors? How far have they gone? And what are they holding back? But here's where things take a more complex turn. Iran may not be in a full-speed race to build a bomb. Instead, it could be following a more subtle and strategic path, doing just enough to raise alarms without pushing the world into a full-blown crisis. This approach is known as strategic ambiguity. It's a way of keeping rivals off balance, never confirming too much, never denying too little. The goal? To create just enough fear and uncertainty to gain leverage at the negotiating table, deter potential attacks, and assert regional power. With this strategy, Iran doesn't need to test a bomb or even finish building one. Just the possibility that it could build one and do it quickly is often enough to influence decisions in Washington, Tel Aviv, Riyadh, and beyond. This ambiguity gives Iran room to maneuver. It can push the limits without crossing a line that might trigger war. It's a calculated game filled with risk, but one Iran has used before. And now, with global attention divided, major powers distracted, and alliances shifting, Iran may be playing that same game again, only this time with higher stakes and fewer restraints. The world is watching, but the question remains, how far is Iran really willing to go? Segment 3. Regional reactions, allies and enemies. Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are all watching closely, and none of them are staying quiet behind the scenes. Each of these countries has its own limits that they won't allow Iran to cross. For Israel, that red line is clear. If Iran's uranium enrichment hits 90%, which is weapons grade, they've warned they might take action on their own without waiting for anyone else. It's a serious warning that shows how high the stakes are. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, is being much quieter, but just as serious. Instead of making bold threats, they're quietly working on their own nuclear program, slowly building up the tools and knowledge they might need in the future. The UAE is also watching carefully, balancing its security ties and economic interests. At the same time, tensions on the ground are growing. Armed groups backed by Iran in Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen are getting stronger again, rearming and preparing. So while there may be a ceasefire on the surface, underneath, the conflict is far from over. In fact, things may be heating up even more, just out of view. Segment 4. U.S. and global powers. a balancing act. The United States is in a tough spot. With elections just around the corner, every move is being watched closely at home. Diplomatic efforts to manage Iran are slow and not showing big results. And while military action is always on the table, it comes with serious risks, both for the region and for American interests. It's a high-stakes situation with no easy choices. At the same time, other global powers are stepping in. China and Russia are getting closer to Iran, forming new partnerships and offering support, economically, politically, and even in military cooperation. This shift is creating a more complex and divided world, with more than just one or two powers calling the shots. The Middle East is becoming a key stage for this growing global competition. So what is Washington's plan? Is the U.S. trying to quietly contain Iran's actions from behind the scenes? Will it try to restart the nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA, and bring diplomacy back to the table? Or is the strategy simply to wait things out, hoping the situation doesn't explode before the election dust settles? For now, the answers remain unclear, but the stakes couldn't be higher. Segment 5, is the ceasefire a mirage? In reality, this so-called ceasefire might not be real peace at all. On the outside, it may look like a step toward calm, but underneath the surface, it could be something very different. It might just be a clever way to buy time. A short break in the action that allows all sides to reset, regroup, and prepare for what could come next. Many analysts call it strategic camouflage, where a pause in fighting is used not to stop the conflict, but to get ready for the next phase. It's a reset button, not a solution. Right now, things may seem quiet. There are fewer headlines, fewer explosions, fewer urgent speeches, but that doesn't mean everything is fine. In fact, it's often during these so-called quiet moments that the most important things happen behind closed doors. Weapons may be moved, alliances may be strengthened, and plans may be made in secret. What appears to be calm could actually be a cover for quiet preparation, and the pieces are being moved on the board when no one's watching too closely. This silence we're seeing now is fragile, and it might not last for long. It could very well be the calm before the storm. If history has taught us anything, it's that nuclear standoffs and high-stakes regional tensions rarely end in a whisper. They usually build slowly, like pressure in a volcano, until something finally gives. And when that pressure explodes, whether through a single strike, a political miscalculation, or a proxy attack, the consequences can be massive. When that tipping point comes, it won't just affect the countries directly involved. The fallout, political, economic, and even military, can ripple across borders and impact global stability. We've seen it before, and there's every reason to be cautious now. That's why it's important to look beyond the surface and pay attention to the quiet signals. Because sometimes the most dangerous moments are the ones that feel too quiet. If you found this breakdown helpful or eye-opening, make sure to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Do you think this ceasefire is the real deal, or just a short break before things heat up again? Your take matters, and we love hearing different views from around the world. Thanks for spending your time with us here at Global Edge, where we break down the big stories shaping our world, one move at a time. Stay informed, stay curious, and remember,